I'm just making this video as a follow-up to the video I've talked about women not being aggressive with men. I was in my comment section and I was like, what is this nonsense I'm hearing about some of the men saying they like when women are aggressive? Also, some women saying that women pursued men. First off, we are the bride, okay? The reason why we know how much Jesus loves us is because Jesus pursued us first. Jesus loved us first. So if we are the church and we are the bride and he is the groom, doesn't that make you understand that women are supposed to be pursued by men? Because women, if you go after a man, hunting him down, pursuing him, what work does he have to do? Men like to hunt. Men like a chase. Am I saying be that woman who is like making this man really just chase you down and he's pursuing you and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm the best in the world, I got this man after me? That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that man will pursue you in a godly way so you know that he likes you. I'm so confused, like at the comments in my comment section about people being just like, oh no, women should be aggressive. Why would you be aggressive? Please show me a woman in the Bible who was aggressive, who went after a man. And do not say Ruth, because Boaz saw Ruth first. He saw how hard she was working. He saw how diligently she was working, and he was interested in her. And then she let him know that she was interested in him by laying at his feet. So women, I really want you, and men, also men, if you want women to be aggressive and pursuing you, I'm sorry, but a woman like me, I wouldn't want a man who wants me to be aggressively pursuing him, because that tells me that while I'm aggressively pursuing him, he already knows that he has me and he's okay with still looking for other women. Or in our relationship, I'm always going to constantly be pursuing this man. No, Christ pursued the church. Christ first loved us so that we knew how to love him. So everybody who was in my comment section on that last video about women not being aggressive, I really want you to go back and get in your word and read your word and read about women in the Bible, men in the Bible, when they were going into holy matrimony, how the stories took place. Because even was Esther pursuing King Xerxes? No, Esther was brought into the palace along with other women. So what does that tell you? That is pursuit. She was brought there to a place to prepare to get ready for her husband, who was the king, who was, well, in all those women's minds, they probably all thought they were going to be champions. They probably all thought that that was their husband. But no, it was Esther's husband. You know why? Because he chose Esther. Okay, women, you will be chosen by a man who is willing to pursue you. Men, you are to pursue this woman, and then things will fall into place. Once you begin to pursue this woman, you'll see that she likes you back. You do nice things for her, she'll do nice things back for you. Okay, I don't think it's that hard, but I was so frustrated reading my comment section, and I was like, Lord, like, what are these people talking about?
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get into it. So this video is from Jessica's Life with God. And you know, I think I understand where she's coming from, but again, I also understand why, you know, she was at odds with people in her comments. And you always have to remember, it's always about where people are coming from, what their history is, what their beliefs are, and how the scriptures have actually been taught to them. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm always encouraging people to like read the Bible on their own, to try to have Bible studies where you can talk it out so that you can have a better understanding. Now, let's get to this whole concept of pursuit. So if you are brand new to my channel, you might not know what I'm going to say, but a lot of the people that have been hanging around for a while already know what I'm going to say. Generally, the person that pursues is the person that really has not done their work. They have not done enough work to get themselves to the point where they are the most desired. Okay. Recently, we had a big thing, and Cam Newton had actually gotten a lot of attention out here on the internet. because it came out that he had, 3 babies mamas and, he didn't really want to marry any of them and all those other kind of things. And we've always had this whole concept of a high value man as well, which I'll be honest, I don't believe in. And I've told you all, I do not encourage you to believe in that whole concept of a high value man or woman, to be, to make sure I'm clear. But I want to use him as a perfect example, because if you take Cam Newton, even where he is right now, in his life, he's no longer playing football. Okay, he's probably has a lot of investments where he's still making money, probably not the amount of money that he was making before, but he's still probably making in the millions of dollars a year. All right, he has his podcast, and he's also, I know he owns a couple of restaurants here in Atlanta. So you take all of that, and even with him having 3 babies mamas, do you think this man would not be able to get women to pursue him? Okay. And they're pursuing him because of what he has, what he's been able to accomplish. Because he is this man at this high level, he is able to, get women that will give him a lot of attention. This works the same way when a woman is out here and she's very kind, she's very beautiful, she keeps herself up. I don't give her a dog or two where she is. She could be in church, she could be volunteering somewhere. She could be working at McDonald's, okay, just to be real. But if this woman is walking and has that glow on her, of, like I say, just really kind. She's never nasty to people or anything like that. She's always nice. She's always sweet, but she keeps herself up, different things like that. And then she always seems like she supports the men. A man might come in and say, hey, I'm working on blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, go for it. I believe you can do it. And then just continues to the next customer. I guarantee you that woman will have a lot of men pursuing her. Now, the thing that we have to remember is that we live in a very toxic world, and we get caught up many times in what we want versus what reality is. And then there's always this extremes, right? That's why I never really liked the whole concept of a term like chasing. And even the concept of pursuit, I don't like that term, because that really is saying that somebody else is like literally going after someone else, and then that other person may or may not want to be caught. All right. And while I do know someone has to make the initial move, okay, and generally speaking, I will encourage men to make that initial move. We also recognize that there is an initial move that a lot of women make before the first physical, real, true move is actually made. All right. And that is a woman, when she likes a man, she is probably going to make eye contact with him. She is going to smile at him. Okay. And many women who are very smart, like I've encouraged you all to do, will basically position themselves around the man so the man can get access to the woman. Right. So all of these things are happening, and it's easy to say, oh, the man is pursuing the woman is pursuing the man. But in reality, why can't we just say we're all just coming together, right? So like in her, in her argument, that she is making, she is basically saying that men are to go out, they're to see a woman, walk up to that woman or whatever it is, and talk to that woman. But in my understanding, okay, and in all the stuff that I've been studying over the last 4 to 6 years, depending upon which, stat you want to look at, what I have noticed is that most men, are not going to come up to a woman unless she makes eye contact with him or smiles with him first. Okay, and I've tried to say this over and over again. This does not necessarily mean a woman is pursuing a man if she does it. But see, women actually do this naturally. And that's why it's so interesting, is because, see, the natural way that a woman works is that when she sees something she likes, she smiles at it. I'm just being real. There's another thing that generally happens when a woman is around a man that she likes. She actually widens her eyes. And a lot of, male dating coaches tell men to look for that signal, is that when you have something like, blue eyes or green eyes, you'll be able to see, that her iris will widen, okay, to take in more light because she's trying to take you in, right? So this is the natural way that a woman responds to something that she likes. That's her natural way. If she doesn't do anything, if you see a 10-year-old and she's next to a 10-year-old boy that she likes, that's what she's going to do. But what happens is as we go through middle school, we shut a lot of those things off. We start to try to turn those things off because we don't want people to read us that easily. And even this whole concept of what she's talking about, that if a woman is chasing a man, she's pursuing this man, okay, that he is going to believe that he can go out here and do this, that, and the third. Again, that's not necessarily true, right? Because see, what's really going on is that can go on either way. A woman can have a man, quote unquote, chasing her, and then she's like, well, let me see who else is out here for me while this man is pursuing me. And a woman can say the same thing. Oh, I got this man pursuing me, and, I'm just going to, play the field, or the man can say, I'm going to play the field, right? See, the truth is when you have a toxic environment and everybody's about manipulation, then everyone else is afraid that they're going to be the person that is the victim, right? Okay, and see, that's the part that I'm really trying to key in on. Okay, there's always going to be someone, no matter what the situation is, that's going to be hurt, even if they're hurt, even for a small amount of time. It is very rare to have love at first sight where both people just saw each other, fell in love, came together. It didn't matter who said what first, and then they just had their relationship and it went on forever. Okay, what generally happens is one person is either positioning themselves or they're making a move on the other person. Then both parties decide to at least kind of, entertain this concept of going back and forth to see whether or not they like each other. Okay, and then generally one person says, you know what, this person is not my exact perfect, but I'm okay with this. And it might be both people that say this. And then from there, they make the honest decision to open their hearts to the other person, and then they get into a relationship. But when you have a man that is giving 65% of the energy toward a woman, or a woman that's giving 65% of the energy toward a man, you're generally going to end up with this not working, right? And see, that's the part that I'm always trying to make sure women understand, is because a man is not going to pursue you forever. And that's, again, why I don't like this concept of pursuit. What we really should be just saying is two people coming together. All right? If two people like each other, two people can come together. Okay, it doesn't matter really who said hello first. Okay, all that matters is that they had a conversation, they decided to exchange numbers, and now they are in this conversation. Now, if it was up to me, I don't mind if a woman makes eye contact with a man. I don't mind if a woman says hello first. What I believe is that a woman should never ask for a man's phone number or contact information. That's the place where I say men have to step up. Okay, because if I walk into, a store and there's a woman that says hello to me, and then I look over and then she's gorgeous and we have a quick conversation and I'm like, oh, wow, this woman is almost perfect. I'm not going to shy away, from asking for her phone number, and I'm not going to be mad that she said hello to me. I'm going to be excited that she said hello to me, right? If I'm interested. So this concept of a woman chasing a man or a man chasing a woman, I think we need to get out of that. Instead, we need to see that when both people come together, okay, the man can put in a little bit more energy, maybe like I say, 3 to 5%. Okay, but the woman should be, reciprocating. Okay, and it's almost match to match energy. Like people even talk about equally yoked. Okay, that's that whole concept. All right, and I've said before, if the man puts in a little bit more energy for the first 1 to 3 weeks, okay, cool. And there are men that have been successful after, really putting in that true effort, that a lot of men will say those particular men are, all types of simps and stuff like that. There are situations where those simps actually went out. Okay, they do the whole Forrest Gump thing. If you've never seen the movie Forrest Gump, he chases the woman throughout the whole movie. And finally, literally like a year before she dies, he finally gets her. Okay, so, it does happen. Maybe not as dramatic as that, but it does happen, but it's not something I would ever encourage a man to do. Okay, and I'm just being real. And I would never encourage a woman to do that either. Okay, the person in front of you has to kind of give you enough energy for you to continue. And if you don't feel like it's enough energy, you need to get out, okay, and go find yourself somebody else. But again, I think we got to get away from this whole thing about pursuit. Oh, the man is going to pursue you if he really wants you, and he's going to come after you, and he's going to chase you. Again, that is in the movies and in the books, and maybe a few video games that are more geared towards women, but that's not going to be the reality of most men unless they just really think you are all that in a bag of chips. And 9 times out of 10, okay, it ain't going to happen. I'm just being real. I'm trying to, like I say, bring us back down to earth. Now, let's take a look at the Bible. Since she brought up the Bible, I don't really know of anyone in the Bible that was pursued. Okay, I don't really know, even when she brings up Esther. Okay, a lot can be said about Esther. I mean, if you really, again, want to read in between the lines. Okay, Esther was brought in. It just worked out in her favor. God showed favor on her, and it worked out in her favor. But we got to be real about a lot of things. Okay, and the whole thing with Boaz, Boaz did not chase Ruth, as far as the scriptures are concerned. Now, we have romanticized what Boaz did, but Boaz did not do that. Ruth made it known. She positioned herself, and that's what positioning is. She positioned herself to let him know, hey, I'm interested. And at that point, he took it from there. And all on this channel, all I've ever encouraged women to do is position themselves. That's all women have ever had to do. Women have never had to chase men. All women have had to do is position themselves. It's just like when I just did a video talking about, all these singles, ministries and singles events, and there's no men at these events. But I understand why a lot of women be frustrated, but at the same time, as a woman, you don't need but one man. And most of the women at those events, they're not going to position themselves at all. They're going to sit, with a group of women, and they're going to complain. I'm just being real. Again, I'm trying to help the women out that watch my channel. What would be smart, for a woman that's watching me to do, even at a Christian event where the women outnumber the men 7-1 or 5-1, find a man you like. Get next to him. Talk to him if he talks to you. If he seems interesting, you can stay around, see if you talk more. If he does not seem interesting, do you see anybody else at this event you might want to talk to? And position yourself to talk to that guy. That's all you have to do. Because, like I said, most men are opportunistic. If they're sitting next to a woman that they think is attractive or that thinks is interested in them, they're going to talk to them. It doesn't mean the man is always going to do that, but it means that a good portion of the time when a woman is sitting next to a man and he finds that woman decently attractive, 9 times out of 10, he's going to say hello. And he's going to go through a conversation. And if he finds in that conversation that the woman is decent, he's probably going to ask for her phone number. But when women say, I'm going to stay on my side of the room, I'm never going to venture over to his side of the room. At that point, you're not positioning yourself. And this is the same thing that women can do in church. You see a man on the other side of church who you think is decently attractive, especially if it seems like he's looking at you a couple of times throughout the service. Next week, don't sit where you normally sit where you thought he was. Maybe you'll end up sitting right next to him. Maybe you'll be counter corner. Maybe when everybody says, greet the people around you, you'll be one of the people he greets. But no matter what the situation is, you cannot believe that if you're going to sit on the other side of the church, that one day he's going to find you. Because it don't work that way. And see, that is the key elements that I think people are missing. And that's why I say I don't like the way a lot of people do 2 and 3 minute videos, because again, they're not going into the depth. Even though this one's longer, this was closer to 7, but it's like, you have to look at all those factors. And it doesn't matter what, she thinks that men are these pursuers. No, men are not. I wish I could scream it to the heavens. Men are going to generally pursue in their life one thing. Okay, one thing above all other things. Okay, and for Christians, it really needs to be God, but I'm just going to be real. I know for most Christian men, it's not going to be God. It's going to either be, I'll be honest, it's generally going to be their job / purpose. Okay, and most men, that's what they're going to pursue. Okay, when we use the word truly pursue. And everybody else has to be, where they're sitting next to the person, like I said, and they come together. Like I said, he might pursue you a little bit. But when a man takes his eyes off of the goal, okay, and like I say, these train tracks, I'm always talking about train tracks, the engine on the train tracks. And a man should be going, I'm always telling women, like align yourself with his purpose. Marry the purpose. Don't marry his money. Marry the purpose. So the man sees way, way, way in the distance, okay, something he wants. Okay, money, power, business, whatever it is. And he is chugging along towards that goal. That is his purpose. That's what he's moving towards. That is what he's pursuing. Right? So if at the end of that light it's actually women, there's women there, then that man is going to pursue women. But 9 times out of 10, if women is his purpose, he ain't no good. He's not the man you want. He is the same type of man that pops up in Proverbs 5 and Proverbs 7 when you translate it for women. But again, using Proverbs 5 and Proverbs 7 is a perfect example as well, because when we use the original and we look at it for men and we see these women pursuing men, again, we see the same thing where Solomon is saying to his sons, be warned. These women out here exist and they will mess you up. Okay, be warned, right? So I think on both sides, there has to be a coming together. And what you see throughout the Bible is really just coming together. Most people were actually betrothed. Okay, or somebody would say, hey, I have a son of age, you have a daughter of age, let's get them together. This whole concept of people finding their spouses, okay, that's an American Western concept. Okay, that is not an old school biblical concept. So again, we need to really think about that. Now, I do like her concept about Jesus and the bride. I do like that concept because, Jesus does pursue the bride. But even in that concept, Jesus is not bending over backwards, falling over himself to get to you. Okay? He does little things throughout your life to let you know, hey, I care about you. Hey, why don't you come this way? Hey, it's nice over here. But remember, even if she wants to use that analogy, again, let's take the full Jesus. Because I'm constantly telling y'all, a lot of y'all are not ready for true Jesus, and y'all are not ready for that level of submission. So if you want to deal with that at that level, then you have to talk about it at that level. Jesus led sacrificially. And I'm always encouraging men to do what? Be a servant leader. Lead sacrificially. Put your wife's desires over yours. I'm always telling men to do that. That is the proper way to lead. But there's a flip side to that, and it's really important. Okay, when Jesus was dealing with people and they would say, hey, Jesus, I want to hang out with you. Okay, I want to rock and roll with you. Can I be one of your disciples? And Jesus was like, yeah, cool. I like you, man. Come out, hang out with me. And then the dude would be like, oh, yo, I'm going to hit you up on Saturday. Let me go bury my daddy. And what did Jesus tell him? Let the dead bury the dead. Follow me now. Which basically means that you have to submit to me now. You have to be under my leadership now. You can't come and go as you please when the world's desires take you away from me. You got to look at all the different pieces if we want to really pay attention to these things. Okay? And this is why, like I said, I try to be balanced with it. But generally speaking, like I say to end this, remember that generally the person that's done everything, that's, pursuing the life they want to pursue and building up the life that they want to build, okay, that's the man that is going to get a woman to pursue him. And there's nothing really wrong with a woman making a move, okay, positioning herself. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I will say, like I said, if you feel like you're chasing a dude, you need to get away from that. And he needs to give you some energy, all right? and I just want to make sure I am clear on that. Now, remember on Wednesday of this week, which I think it'll be tomorrow for you all, you want to make sure that, you know that we have the live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So come on out, be a part of the live, and I will see you in the very next video.